Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the Avengers issue 20, 2023. I really like that cover. I really like how T'Challa's just like popping out of there. I like the use of purple and everything, and since this is a T'Challa-centered issue, it works out pretty well. So, we had seen that he was going in on a solo mission into Meridian Diadem's whole kind of prison place, so let's kind of see how that kind of works out. Zone 14, green. I told you we shouldn't have gone into Loyalist territory, Harno. The Loyalists control the food dispensers in this zone, so it was this or kill you and eat you, Routely. It's been 2 years since the uprising, since I was in a cell, and I'd rather be in a stew pot than let the Loyalists take me and put me back there, as they're pretty much trying to run away from the Loyalist forces. That can be arranged. Yeah. Harno, no. Routely, run. They'll get you. And it's like, oh shit, what's going on? What's gonna happen? But then we get this really kick-ass page. No. As the Black Panther pops in, just badass. So we then see this really kind of cool panel layout where T'Challa's just beating wholesale ass as we're getting some information going on. And it doesn't feel like a plot dump, because normally for a plot dump, I just have to have someone completely sitting there and explaining for a lot of pages. It's like, give us some stuff going on, and we get some stuff going on. The thing you have to understand is, before the uprising, there was one power in here, Meridian Diadem. She abducted us all, made us her prisoners. Some of us cracked, gave in, and became trustees, guards, janissaries, wardens, her creatures, body and soul. The rest stayed locked up in the cells, the pens, the dungeons, until the uprising. One day, Meridian Diadem went silent, and there was no one to give the trustees their orders, no one to run the prisons, no one in charge. That was when we, the prisoners, fought back, as we see these guys looking in like, what the fuck? That was the uprising, and that was over 2 years ago, as we then get another great just page of this T'Challa just like, yeah, they done. Later, But it has only been months since the Avengers defeated Meridian Diadem and the rest of the Ashen Combine. Whatever you say, outsider, time moves more quickly in here. We think it was so Meridian Diadem could convert prisoners into trustees more quickly. The trustees, they are still active, and I really like how different the paneling is here, with just like how it kind of gives you momentum and movement and progression. There used to be one power in here. Now there's two. There's the Loyalists, the Trustees, and anyone else who still worships Meridian Diadem in her absence, and then there's the Free Gangs. When the uprising kicked off, we could have won. There were more of us than there were of them, and they weren't used to thinking without Meridian Diadem. It's like, that's how it usually pops off and happens. But we stalled, broke into factions, each with a boss wanting to be in charge. It's like, yeah, you gotta watch that shit. And then this is actually pretty sweet here, as we see the explanation going on in T'Challa's face as he's drinking it all in. Started fighting each other instead of the Loyalists. We could have won. We could have made this prison into a place we could all live. But the Loyalists got away, fortified, took control of critical infrastructure like the food dispensers in this zone. And with the Free Gangs at odds with each other, it's going to stay that way. It's like, let's see here. The next day. So you and your Avengers, you put Meridian Diadem into stasis? Yes. Her and the rest of the Ashen Combine. The Impossible City has joined our cause. Now I've come to see what we can do to help you. We can evacuate you from here, perhaps find some way to return you home. Forget it. Why do you think we're all fighting for control of this place, not trying to escape it? We can't leave. None of us can. Every prisoner captured was biologically altered to be dependent on the biome here. Outside, within a week, we'd be dead. So, we have the stakes. It's like, alright. Because T'Challa's first thought is, alright, if this is so kind of nutty, how about we get you all out? Can't. So, we're getting all the stakes set up. We're getting the challenge that T'Challa's having. So, he has to go through and deal with this place. This is the only place we can live, you understand? This is the only place we have. It's like, and T'Challa's like, alright, let's do it. Then our path is clear. If this is the only place you can call home, then let us make it a place you can call home. But how? We're scavengers, not warriors. And maybe you're an Avenger, whatever that means, but you're just one person. It's like, even though I'm not that well versed with the Black Panther. Wait. One person was born for this. One person trained from birth by the very best for this. There's only ever one Black Panther in Wakanda. Allow me to show you why. It's like, yeah. And I really kind of like this story because even though as the Avengers it's kind of cool and important to show them, it is important to show that one person, even with limited resources, can make a difference, as T'Challa does here. Ward 3 gang encampment. Hey, what's that? That's close enough. This is Ward 3 gang territory. What's your allegiance? I am T'Challa. You can call me the Black Panther. And you're mistaken. This is Panther gang territory. I've come to collect your oaths of allegiance to me so we might get to work. And this is important. T'Challa already knows what he needs to do to consolidate these people. And seeing him kind of go through and show why there's only ever one Black Panther and how he's born to this just really fucking rocks. What do you think? Crazy or just stupid? I don't see why it can't be both. And then he just lays it down, and I love that we get action, and even though it's kind of small here, it just works very well as we see them just take their asses out. Now, let me see if I can remember the lessons I was taught by the griots. It's like, ooh, and seeing him go through this and comment on it, it doesn't feel like just explaining it for the sake of explaining it. We're getting T'Challa's thoughts as he's going through and why he's doing what he's doing. The Song of Challenge. Ho! Ward 3 gang! The Black Panther comes calling. The trick is to find the balance. T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, comes calling. Outlander, crownless king Avenger. Where is your master, dogs? Where is your master? For your strength to roar like a lion, for your mockery to laugh like a hyena. Send them out, send them out. The Panther has come calling to issue challenge. Is there any here who thinks himself the Panther's equal? To be powerful enough to make your challenge real. To be cruel enough to go the response you wish. Ha! It's like, oh. This is interesting because T'Challa knows how to play this part. And he plays it very well to get the response that he needs. A challenge from a what? A musician, a clown, a panther. I've come to raise your gang up in my love and mercy. Your followers are wasted upon you. Under my spear, they will be made true warriors and granted the gift and honor of being the first of my fighters. Ha! What does my gang need a new leader for? I kept you fed, don't I? I keep you fed, don't I, Ward 3? Keep you safe, keep you happy. You subjugate the weak, the scavengers. You are no better than loyalists. Worse, the loyalists are your betters in every way. Because the loyalists will at least fight for what they believe in. And it's like, woo! He knows exactly what to say. After all, that's why they control the food dispensers in this zone and you steal from scavengers. And that's where it gets it. And it's like, woo! T'Challa just dodging out of the way. Isn't it? Exactly as planned. I've made him look foolish before his gang. I've sown doubt in the minds of his followers. He has no option but to put me down himself. Now the fight. One final act of theater. As he's pretty much dodging and then cracking him out and then dodging some more. It's like, alright, T'Challa, let's do this. Sorry, I thought there was an issue with the page. Because the goal here is not to win a fight. And that's important. He might win, but the goal isn't to win. It is to win hearts. The gang boss is a prop, an aid to a performance, nothing more, as we see him just wreck his ass. It's like, shit. A canvas for my violence, because violence is the language of a gang, and in order to make use of them, I must speak to them in their language. Because I don't think T'Challa likes violence, but he understands the use of it here. It's like, shit. Well, I would hear my name. Panther, 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 Panther. It's like, you gotta watch out when you fuck around with T'Challa. Then we get the John Cassaday memorial tribute. Well, you have a gang. I have my first gang. Sure, but it doesn't make sense to me. Why don't you go get the rest of your Avengers? If you all took down the Ashen Combine, then you could roll up the Loyalists in no time. You are correct. But the Loyalists are not the problem. Correct, T'Challa. And it's like, alright, he's hitting it. If the Avengers removed the Loyalists tomorrow, you would still be what you are. Factious gangs fighting and killing and exploiting one another. You are all people stolen from hundreds of different worlds. You have been subjugated to terrible exploitation and trauma. Horrible things have been done to you. But like it or not, you are one people now. One people with one home you must live in. In order to defeat the Loyalists and make this a home, the free gangs are going to have to come together under one spear. Yes, T'Challa. And that is a pretty good message. Because no matter what, sometimes you've gone through some shit, and yeah, they might be different than you, but you're in this crazy-ass place. You have to come together. Zone 14 green. I was raised from this I was raised from birth for this. To be the ultimate operative of my nation. Gotta be crazy come back here. To find the weaknesses of my enemies, be they an individual or a nation. After last time, oh no, and break them apart. Run! I am used to having the full resources of Wakanda and the most advanced nation in the world at my disposal. To start with nothing, huh? As we pretty much see him utilizing his people and going after the Loyalists. Is exhilarating. It's funny. It's like, I get that kind of feeling. Where you kind of start from nothing, you're trying to figure out what's kind of going on and how to do it. I mean, it's good to have the proper resources to do stuff, because sometimes you need the proper resources. If you're trying to make an Iron Man armor, you're kind of going to want those resources that you kind of need for it. I have a challenge set out before me. To unite a people to topple tyrants. To do right by a people who have had much wrong done to them. As we see him leading his cadre and fighting and taking on the Loyalists. To avenge them. And it's just like, T'Challa don't give no fucks. He's like, that Loyalist is dead. If he's not, he is not happy. If I brought in the Avengers, then this would be a victory for the Avengers. But this will be the first of many victories that must belong to them. And I agree with that, T'Challa. They help them as much as you can, but make sure that they can see that victory is theirs too. I have thought this through, planned it out, as I was raised to do by the canniest and wisest of teachers. But there is also a part of me that questions my own motives. I was born for this. But the kingdom I was born to defend has rejected me. In the face of that, I must wonder, as we see him going through, and they're able to take down and topple that one. Am I merely creating a new kingdom for myself here? And that's a good question to ask, as we see this great page with him with a spear and his flag. And we get a nice fan page here, and then kind of like switching out of like the people kind of taking over for it. And then we get the next issue. Let's see. Issue 21. Valero Shitty returns on interior art while Jed McKay brings his X-Men to the fore. Captain Marvel and Cyclops square off. Storm finds herself caught between her two teams. Scarlet Witch reunites with Magneto and more. Prepare for the future of the Avengers and the X-Men. Also showing off Avengers Assemble, Avengers United, and West Coast Avengers, which I'm getting the first one to kind of check out. So, see, that's the cover for issue 21 and the other one. So it's like, ooh! So I really actually enjoyed this to get the understanding of how T'Challa works. And since I haven't really read that many Black Panther, I haven't read any Black Panther issues, but I have read comics that have had Black Panther in them. And I really like Jed McKay's handle on him in here, showing him going into a territory that he's not really got a lot of preparation for. He's kind of figuring out what's going on, finding out that these people are biologically have to be here because of them being changed, and he has to unite them into one people. And it's really kind of cool to see him kind of going around and doing that, understanding the system, breaking it down, and trying to form it into a place where these people can live, and using what he's learned from his teachers to utilize the kind of calls and challenges. And that was a really cool scene. I really loved him being able to do that and change that. And it's important because of how it's executed for me. Because in any other kind of one, you have to watch out with the balancing, because you would have one part where you probably see T'Challa just completely and utterly explaining what he's about to do, and then it happening, or as like a plot dump and an info dump of like, oh god. And I throw that term around, and it's mainly when it's just you're completely telling it, and in comics you want to show and tell, and this is important because you see it throughout every stage. You're like, okay, T'Challa's doing this. He's pretty much winning the hearts and minds of the people and being like, this person is having you steal from scavengers. You should be strong enough to take on the Loyalists, to get this into the place that you guys deserve, and seeing them and having that work out towards the end. And also T'Challa even questioning himself. I was rejected by my homeland. Am I attempting to build another kingdom here to like assuage himself of that kind of hurt and that kind of wound? It's like, ooh, we'll have to see how that works out. So I really like that. I kind of want to see what happens out from there. I would almost think that this would be like a 2 kind of part 1, but I'm interested to see how we get Jed McKay's kind of fusion with the X-Men, since I'm reading that one, and the Avengers in the next one. And also the art style, because, I mean, they're not really... I mean, you got different kind of artists working on them, but I kind of like that they're picking up Valerio Schiti for that, and because his artwork's always pretty good. I'm always kind of happy to see that kind of work out. Could be a little bit weird on certain kind of instances, but I like that. But I also really like the art style here. The action, the fluidity, the movement of Black Panther just works out, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.